So, my patient on Monday was a 65-year-old white male, was brought to Novant Thomasville for the Geriatric Behavioral Health Unit on June 23rd, 2020 for schizoaffective disorder and substance abuse dependence. I had a conversation with my patient in the day room, but then I had to leave because there was more than 10 people in the day room, and that was the only amount that could be in the day room at the time because of COVID protocol. But subjective data I got from my patient was that he wanted to talk to his sister at 11 o'clock, and that is what time she said to call her back. He got very aggressive with the nurse because he didn't know which one was his nurse, and he said, "This is fucking bullshit. Where's my nurse?" And another subjective response from him, he was like, "I am not eating lunch. I don't want to be here giving my vital signs." He also said, "Why do I have to wait? This is taking forever." Some objective data I got from my patient was his respiratory rate was 18, his BP was 35/78, his temperature was 97.7, heart rate was 79, his O2 was 100%, his BMI was overweight, which was 29.98, and his POCT glucose ACHS was 201. Initial findings I found was my patient was very quiet when I walked into the day room, and then when we were in the room until group therapy, but asking to talk on the phone with his sister at 11. Before talking to his sister on the phone, he got mad and cussed because he couldn't get the phone because he had to ask his nurse to use the phone. After talking to his sister, he was easily agitated, aggressive behavior, impatient, and cussed at the residents and nurses. Trying to talk to him when I was trying to get his vital signs, but he wasn't being cooperative when doing it. After getting his vital signs, he was refusing to eat and went back to his room. Some priority problems for him would be his aggressive behavior, mood stabilization, and ineffective coping. The patient's needs is the patient will attend group therapy to help with stress and aggressive behavior. Patient will take meds when the nurse gives it. Patient will sleep 6 hours a night. Patient will eat 50% of his meals and not refuse. And patient will improve sleep, appetite, and stable effect 3 days before his discharge. The intervention needs, he's been in there for almost a year, but his intervention care has not been successful because he's very hostile, aggressive, and mean. Also, he hasn't been successful because he's refusing and not cooperating with the nurses. Something that the nurse could do, like to help, would the nurse would encourage the patient to go into a quiet environment and calm down if there was aggressive behavior and use coping strategies to help. The nurse will encourage the patient to eat meals and teach how important nutrition is to his body. Everyone's emotions today. The patients were very quiet today at breakfast, and then when they attended group therapy, they interacted, but they were very tired and moody. The weather was very gloomy and raining. The nurses were cooperative and nice and were willing to help us out. Us as nursing students helped out the staff by doing any skills that were needed to be performed when they were dealing with another situation. They were very gracious when we did vital signs at the end of our day. Responses and changes to my plan that I could have done with my patient. The patient was not compliant with the nurses and were refusing. Didn't get to see his mood after lunch because we left the unit. Wanted to see if his mood changed after he went back to his room after getting vital signs and refusing to eat. He attended group therapy but didn't participate, just sat in his wheelchair looking at the table. Some skills I performed were I assisted vital signs before lunch, used therapeutic communication skills, and which was really cool, I was able to sit on the treatment planning at 10:30 on the D unit for every individual on the behavioral health unit. Some effective communication. The nurses used very effective communication skills with us as nursing students if we had any questions, and if we did, they answered in very good detail. We as nursing students were very verbal with giving a report and the sheet back to the CNAs for the vital signs. Differences in my plans for Monday was from Monday, I wish I would have been able to talk and sit down with my patient in a more quiet area and have him cooperate with a good mood and attitude. I wanted to ask him how we can use coping strategies to help with his aggressive behavior and how we can work on his aggressive behavior towards others. Ask him ways that will help him sleep better at night and ways for him to eat meals and not refuse. Some pros for my skill performance. I help patients from leaving the day room when giving vital signs when they were irritated. I used therapeutic communication and I helped out on the unit when needed. Cons, I wish I could have interacted with my patient longer in the day room and tried to figure out why he was so agitated with everything. My overall performance, I thought today was really good. I was very comfortable in the unit. I felt comfortable with the nurses and the patients. Had good communication skills, of course, therapeutically, with my patients, with being able to keep him in the day room until I got his vital signs. And I was very open and positive towards the patients, and I felt confident in doing vital signs on the patients.